he's sitting there like, I do this for real. No, you don't. No, you do not.
Tell me if you see it.
Tread lightly, man. Oh.
Let's see here.
That's fine. Yeah, we're live.
Yes. That is good. But yeah.
That was awesome.
No, it was.
That day was funny though, because that was the day this guy walks into the gym, like with what appeared to be like two friends, and so in the very first game, I'm guarding one of these alleged friends, and he immediately gets upset about not receiving the ball, and he's kind of, what the fuck, man? He's like, pass the ball, and but the guy that I thought was his friend was not necessarily like the chief offender and not giving him the ball,
right?
But he got kind of mad. And then, like, the game ends, we win. Somehow, the guy that I thought was his friend gets picked up on the new team to challenge us. So the guy on the side keeps like chirping at him, and then there's like a dead ball, and he's just like, he charges onto the court, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. He's like ready to go at this guy. And up to this moment, I thought that they were friends. And I'm like, what is going on? Everybody was baffled. Eventually, cooler heads prevailed. And so I didn't really have a chance to talk to the guy, but he comes back the next day, and I'm like, hey, were those your friends yesterday? He's like, no, but I know who they are. I was like, be careful, man.
That's hilarious.
It was just funny, man.
South K on the beat, yo.
Get up, boof.
Master Chef. I tell them slide, move, let's get up on some boo. They telling lies, ooh, that me that with the Jew. Max I, skirt, that me that's on the news. The trap God coming through, y'all niggas just make some room. Okay, they know I keep the boot, my feet up in the coop. Double G's on the shoe, plus I just deleted my roof. Got a cheetah where the motor be, some beat up where it supposed to be. We all like we supposed to be. Got a real cause it's overseas. And bill come from South, so you know I got a sour taste. They know a nigga power, I can teach you by the power. Hey, you can slaughter, you can die, either one you gon' get out the way. I been the total in my city, now the total finally run the race. A smooth young dude, little nigga, big boy move. Y'all nigga move out the way, G5, big boy move. Y'all nigga get sweat out the way, big 5, big boy broom. Y'all let big boy try that little nigga and get big boy boom. And you can die if you fuck with small guy by the buck. But I slide, switch side, open fire on a fuck nigga. Mercer drive, this live, channel 9, know what's up with it. Cross town, in my eyes, you can die if you fuck with him. On the eye, you know I fuck with him. Liza and Lil Lucky them. Lil Lucky here a real one, but you better not try your luck with him. In the hills, I know some killers, matter of fact, I know a couple of them. On the app, I know what's up, you want some gas, go and fuck with him.
Rhyme for my brother, if they're my nigga, then I'm stuck with him. All about the sack, so if he quack, you know I'm plucking him. Let me get them, know they been feeling like I've been killing them. We move like G's, them niggas move a little feminine. Fuck if they been plotting, we watch them and move cautious. Everything drunk, then go, fuck what it cost me. You the middleman, no plug, you just talking. A big shark diving that water like I'm a dolphin. A trap nigga getting that money got me exhausted. Clap nigga, soon as I catch him, put him in coffin. Come to my city thinking it did it, we got Simmons. Walk through the bitty like I'm P. Diddy with a million. A smooth individual, I only rock with criminals. Them boys pull robberies, George like a pharmacy. Street life a part of me, plug out of Oregon. Move like a foreigner, I done got the formula. I heard it was divine now, they say I'm on the rise now. Snakes only hits, they just smile and be in disguise now. See my grass low, I cut niggas off so my bag grow. Pockets full of money, I'm chewing, that's why it's sad low. Bitch fall back, don't call back, I'm grinding. I done lost it all and crawled back inclining. Been fired in them, I guess I waited on timing. You know how I gon' go, so don't need much for the assignment, nigga.
D-boy been the bomb, I know you niggas hear me blowing up. California runs, got my front pockets throwing up. I'm turning into that nigga I wanted to be when I was growing up. When D-boy hit the street, these niggas whole shit slowing up. Wide up honcho, we swerve niggas curves like pronto. Splashing on shit, get your puncho. Get your sack together, it costs money for this convo. I send them at your front door, you swinging and you done for. Sour case slanging, power K's making hella beats. I'm in the coupe, getting swallowed by them leather seats. No more ducking gang task force, bitch we mob niggas. Granny know we sell dope, we used to have to rob niggas. keys, he called a dime. I cut some niggas off my line. Don't hit me up and waste your time. All my niggas doing fine. These niggas don't wanna see you up. I think they going blind. If you say why I felt, nigga, then you know it's mine. What's happening? Talking about real OG shit, man. They came up out the mud as a little nigga. Deal what I'm saying? I always stick to the G code, nigga. This shit running for a nigga, baby. You heard? Late night, let me show you how to get your wiggle on. White tank top, 9 chains in the brick zone. Jordan flip flops, gym shorts, fuck you nobody. Run a tent too dog, run a car too cloudy. Got the glizzy on me, want one of these pussy niggas to try me. Think you fucking with a rapper, try to turn to a top shotter. Got a handheld chopper, this bitch will fit right in my wallet. Like to pull it out on pussy niggas, got it for the problems. My little dog got that Jordan jersey on, he'll rob you. Wipe your nose if you slobbing. We like Batman and Robin, we were Ballman and Robbins. Ain't nobody give a penny. Snatch the flat screen off the wall and put that bitch right on my pinky. I been dripping on these pussies on purpose, give me the reason. Run off with a pack, fuck, nigga gon' meet a leader. Nigga, you ain't ballin' till your daughters want a cheetah and you buy that bitch for with a monkey and a zebra. Monkey ass nigga, you gon' be broke by the weekend. Getting buku racks, I never let that greed sneak in. I done seen the wrong nigga catch the play and call 10. Big dog shit, we gon' spaz, let the fleas in. Big dog LGMG shit, nigga. Come on, man, sideways. Mookie, South Guard, King Titus.
Welcome back. You guys are back on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We are available on all, now I do mean all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff.
Comment and engage.
That's right.
Yeah, we had good interaction with viewer Kensley, former player at Winter Springs.
Yeah, and shout out to Winter Springs. But yeah. So comment and that keeps us going on the show, man. Especially if you have something funny to say.
Yeah.
Or you could be like Ebony and just say hello and hello back to you. That works as well.
Come on, Ebony had a good run here in the show when she said she preferred toys to men.
Toys to men, that's a new group. Hopefully that's her progression in life.
I think it went the other way. Men to toys. This should come full circle.
Yeah, man. And as always, we got a good fun show for you guys today. Super Bowl is coming up. All right, so I have some best bets. I want Pink to grade here. Okay. See if he likes any of those ideas. Top 5. My voice kind of cracked there.
Yeah. I thought you dropped back to being like a 13-year-old.
Wow, don't put me in the booth, man.
I think Michael Jackson just rolled over in his grave. Wanted to give you full access.
It will give you full access. Top 5 NBA teams to be afraid of. All right, in the playoffs here, man. Off the grid, top 5 teams.
Off the grid.
Yeah, NBA All-Star, Caleb Williams, Klay Thompson. A lot of fun stuff here today, man.
Clay's not having much fun.
Yeah, he's not having any fun. I'll tell you that much. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I don't know if this was yesterday or the day before. You know, I have this thing, right, where I Google just randomly. I'll Google some of my favorite, teams or people, right, just to check up, so my team, 76ers, Gators, Chiefs, and I'll go.
So you just Google the Chiefs.
Yeah, and then I'll go to news because that'll let me know like injuries and whatnot and what was said. Okay. And trade rumors, especially with 76ers now, right? People, Lil Wayne, if he got a new song out or something, and then I noticed he had a podcast with Skip coming out or something. I didn't like that. And then Kodak, and the other day I'm glad I did that because he put out a new song with a video. I'm like, how do you do that? And you're in jail. And so I would have, if I didn't Google that, I would have known, right? And
that's interesting because I'm like the opposite. I'm like somebody's name or something will come into prominence and I'm not quite sure, who the heck is that? What are they doing? Then I'm Googling them to get the background. Like the people that I'm not going to Google Mbappe. Yeah. It's like I'm already locked in.
Well, that's just continue to lock it. But I'm going to tell you something. One of the other guys I do this with also is Drake. All right. Okay. So, yeah, you see where this is going. But I'm doing this just around a random day. And I'm gonna tell you something. I Googled Google News. It didn't really show me anything, right? So, And then after that,
good term. The show me.
and I'm at work, right? And it's the morning, so I have a little time. So now I'm scrolling on Facebook, and I see like 3 or 4 posts saying, "Hey, anybody saw the new Drake video? You got to see this Drake video." And I'm not the biggest music video guy. Drake has like 1 or 2 videos I really enjoy. He has the God's Plan and then the one with Future because they're different. He also helped produce those. But outside, really I'm not a music video guy. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I see like 15 or 20 more posts as the day goes on. I'm like, oh, this must be another one of his best work. And they all all of the posts are similar. Just like, have you seen this Drake video? It's crazy. You guys got to see it. And there are multiple red flags that I missed every single red flag, right? The first red flag that I miss is when I see these posts, I go to my Google News. Google News never let me down. Then I hit the news tab. And I didn't see anything, right?
Okay.
That's the first red flag. I didn't see anything on Google News.
If this was legitimate.
All it had on Google News was, hey, he said he's not going to do this song with Rihanna anymore, like he's not going to perform it, and then something with his son, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the next red flag is when I get on there, they're saying, yeah, this video, and you have to go to Twitter to see the video. And that's the second red flag. I totally ignored it. And I'm like, okay, you have to go to Twitter to see this video. I wonder why it's not anywhere else. And then the third red flag that I missed is that it's really all women that are these posts are coming from. But he has a big female fan base, so I'm really not thinking about this in real time.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'm going to go to Twitter. I don't even have a Twitter account. But I'm gonna go to Twitter and find and seek down this video. Drake is my guy. I want to see the new Drake video.
Did you hijack somebody's Twitter account?
No.
Okay.
No. I just it'll let you Google Twitter and then Drake, and then you can go and just see what's trending. So I go on there and I find the video. And I'm just gonna tell you guys something, man. I'm really disappointed in you guys. You guys have to fucking put what's going on in your post, okay? That's it's too plain to say, hey, go see Drake's new video. Like that, you're setting people up. Put an eggplant emoji. Put some further context in there other than a Drake new video. They set me up. They set me up, man. And I don't feel good that I did all of this work to search and find his video. I'm at work. I'm not making calls. I'm missing interviews to fucking find this video, man.
All to see Jake's junk. Oh my God. I love it. That's awesome.
And that is a conspiracy theorist that's not even Drake. And
if you're Drake, do you just roll with it?
He did though. He went into it's a podcaster called Aiden or whatever.
Yeah.
And he asked him about it, and he didn't confirm or deny. He just was laughing and was like, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I just feel like Drake is dick pic. From celebrities, it's either when you're very in the beginning of your career or when you're struggling in your career. That's when you throw that out there. So for Drake to be where he's at, I don't know if that's just as an uncharted territory for someone to do that in this position. You haven't had to do it this whole time. It felt like odd.
You've done all right for yourself.
It felt like odd timing. That's all. Felt like odd timing.
So does that push you to think that maybe that this is not Drake?
I don't know, but then it's even weirder if you didn't deny that was you. You know what I'm saying? So if you got to ask directly if it was you or not. And if it wasn't you and you didn't deny it, that's even weirder. So
that is weird. That is weird.
So
But the feedback was good.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you kind of let it ride.
Yeah, but
if the feedback was poor, you'd be quick to deny outright. That is not me. That's a damn imposter.
I think it's either way. If it's not you, whether it's good or bad, if it's not you, it's weird if you don't say it's not.
No, for sure. Because again, you have to factor. It's most likely going to come to light if it's not you.
Yeah.
If you try to kind of own this a little bit, but again, I did see the thing with that podcast guy. Like, he did not say, yeah, that's me, or no, it's not.
Right.
So he left himself that space to just tease it along, and which makes me think that actually kind of probably makes it more likely that it wasn't necessarily him.
Yeah.
But super funny. But yeah, again, like,
I did a lot of work to find that video, man.
At the apex of your power.
But yeah, the apex of your power. Yeah, people do this on the back nine when they're struggling. They need something. The label is like, hey, man, you got something. You're dying over here, man. You got something. You got to do something. You got to shoot somebody. You can pull out your dick. What we doing here? Show some titties.
Drake, we got 2 options. You can either shoot somebody or you can pull out your dick. But one way or another, this career has to get back on track.
It has to get back on track here, man. Yeah, so you do what you have to do out here, man.
I guess.
I'm a fan of doing what you have to do.
Yeah, I know you are.
All right, man.
In the future, though, everybody out there, be aware of these red flags. If a video is only available on Twitter, and I've mentioned this before, Twitter is like crazy hardcore porn.
And I thought about that. I said, Pink told me this is what Twitter is about. Yeah. That's why it's a red flag, because you told me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I didn't know, I didn't know. But I did know.
And then the other red flag was that only women were talking about this. Yeah. What was the third red flag?
The third red flag was I couldn't find it on Google News.
Couldn't find it on Google News.
Yeah. It wasn't on.
Yeah, that is there it is. So learn something at Bubba's expense. That's awesome, though.
Oh man,
but like Twitter. There's one account I follow that she does like sucking Sunday, and puts a video up every
sucking Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's wild.
That sounds interesting.
And then like when she does it, like it encourages others to.
Yeah.
So
I'm all for a positive encouragement.
Yeah. It gets pretty wild.
So she's making a positive impact on the world.
She is.
Yeah. Shout out to her, man.
One D at a time.
Yeah, man. I wonder, is that a turnoff for some?
Meaning in terms of what?
Like, would you want to deal with her, or anybody? Like, I wonder for most men if that's a turnoff. I think like a vast majority of men have a turnoff on strippers as far as like dating them.
Well, we kind of talked about this with the Joe Smith thing. It's like if you have the opportunity to have fun with this person, you're not going to turn it down.
Okay.
But if you're sitting there saying, well, hey, I want to get in a serious relationship with her, and part of that is going to be her taking down her Twitter account. Like, to me, that's where it goes wrong.
Okay.
Because it's, if somebody is in a lane and that's what they do, you're free to accept them as they are.
Yeah.
And it's be like, hey, I want to date this person. This is a lifestyle I want to be a part of. And I'm cool. This is fun. I'm down for it. But you can't go to that person, whether it's a stripper or some sort of like OnlyFans person, and then feel that you're going to be like the hero on the horse who comes in and like, oh, hey, I'm going to take you out of this and we're going to have a whole different type of life.
Yeah.
The person's doing that for a reason. Like, there's a part of them that enjoys that.
Yeah.
There's a part of them that's who they are. And you can't try to like just take that away from a person.
I think that's true, because if it's at that point, it's not just for the money, because you could do it just for the money off the off the camera. Kobe says, Jesus Christmas, the FBI is going to look into Pink's Twitter history. It won't be more strange than
Doc Rivers, man. Nah, my first Twitter was already taken down.
Why?
For anti-Trump remarks. Yeah. So
that's very on brand.
It was. Yeah. Nah. It's funny. Like I said, this was really cool. Actually, I laughed my butt off. But back when I had that account going, so a couple of my daughter's friends like follow me on social media, and so one of her friends would like regularly like screenshot my tweets and like send them to Holly laughing, like just like when I would go off in that lane.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what the hell? But yeah, so I'm already on the backup account, man.
Oh man.
So don't mess with this one.
All right, let's get into some sports here. All right. Once again, you guys are on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink on sports, music, and mayhem. Let's go to NBA. All right. Let's go to I'll tell you what. This is the
second thoughts in the NBA.
No, this is the Super Bowl week, man.
Start with the Super Bowl.
Let's start with the Super Bowl stuff, man.
Get to
the
stuff.
So, we of course, everybody knows Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers. We talked at lengths about the quarterbacks, Mahomes and Purdy, especially during the MVP race in certain podcasts, certain shows. And the 49ers, they had a stretch during the season where they were just hot as fish grease. Okay, the Chiefs kind of weren't the Chiefs that we knew throughout the regular season and towards the end and in the playoffs, kind of righted the ship, got on to the thing here. All right, now. I wanted to talk about some of the best bets, right, in the Super Bowl. And then also I read this interesting survey where they surveyed fans about what they would be doing, how, during the Super Bowl, they voted on, sort of what is some of the festivities that take place during the Super Bowl, what are they going to be doing. I thought that was interesting. We'll get into that. All right. But best bets here. Now, we know that, or not know, but the 49ers is a better football team than the Chiefs, all right? And because of that, and it's a neutral site, they have the 49ers favored by 2, okay? You can find 1.5 some places. Most places it's 49ers by 2, 2.5 if you're at a stingy place, okay? Now, here goes the thing. It's as far as a game bet, the sharp money will come in on the 49ers. But we all know you're betting that at your own risk because if you want to bet against Mahomes, that's your business. But I don't see how you can do it. I don't see how you can comfortably put your money behind another team in a big game that's going against Mahomes. Okay, what do you think about that?
No, I was talking to somebody the other day, and it's fascinating. It might have been you. Yeah, like one of the greatest tributes you can give to an athlete is, would you bet against them? And if you have a hard time answering that question, that tells you where that athlete stands in his field.
Yeah.
And it's like right now, nobody's particularly comfortable betting against Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the ultimate sign of respect that no matter what the spread is, what the circumstances are, it's like, I'm not comfortable betting against that guy because I'm scared he's going to do something. And that's where we are with Mahomes. And that's where we're going to be on Sunday night.
That's where we're going to be. And because of that, the best thing that's going to be going for the Super Bowl are prop bets, okay? So I would recommend not to bet the game or, the half or quarters, you know what I mean, and things like that, which, you could do that, right? So I would bet prop bets. So the first one I have here is Isaiah Pacheco over 90 yards. Okay, now this is over 90 yards total, not just rushing and receiving.
Total yards.
Yeah,
Oof.
And right. So I think in order for the Chiefs to win this game, Pacheco is going to have to be instrumental because what the Chiefs have done in this playoff run, is they have minimized Mahomes' options. Right. So you have Kelsey, you have Pacheco, you have Rice. And every once in a blue moon, we'll give Vidal Scanlon an opportunity.
Or that second tight end.
Yes. He might get a ball or two as well. All right. Now, what's interesting is they have activated Tony and Sky Moore for what? I have no idea why. Okay. And even after Tony came out and kind of made disparaging remarks against the Chiefs, and Sky Moore has just been god-awful this year. Both of them have. And they have activated him, and they're supposed to play in the Super Bowl. But if my best guess is they will give Tony special teams, because if you remember last year's Super Bowl.
Huge punt return.
It was just a special teams punt return that gave him opportunity. So
then both those guys have touchdown catches as well.
Yeah. And Sky Moore had a nice touchdown catch. So maybe they're thinking they can relive something.
Relive former glory.
But I still think Pacheco is going to get a good amount of targets. The 49ers pass rush is the real deal. especially on the edges. And where are the Chiefs the weakest on the offensive line is the edges. And so I can see Mahomes having to check down quite a few times, okay, and Pacheco getting some receiving yards out of that.
And also just keeping them honest with the run. Yeah. And if you look at it, the 49ers conceded significant rush yardage to the Packers, and particularly in the first half when Detroit was playing well, they were getting stuff on the ground too.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a pretty good bet. Now, I mean, I would say this. If Pacheco does not get 90 total yards of offense, I don't see the Chiefs winning.
Chiefs are in trouble.
Yeah.
Chiefs are in trouble. All right. My next one here is an odd one, okay? It's the last play of the game to be a quarterback kneel. It's a lot of stuff you could bet on, man. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But this one is interesting. I think it's a strong chance. Now, technically, I guess you could say it's a 50-50 chance. But I think the odds are a little more than that. Okay? I think, last play of the game to be a quarterback kneel.
Victory formation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to me that's like a true prop bet. There's no football analysis that goes into it. It's completely random. You could have the final play be a winning score, a field goal like it was last year. You could have no, it wasn't a field goal. They kicked the field goal with a couple seconds left, and the Eagles had a play.
Yeah.
And so or you can have a team desperately trying to make a play to score. But so I don't know. I would go with no kneel down, no victory formation.
No victory formation.
Yeah.
Like a last minute heave.
Yeah, somebody's trying to do something. Maybe somebody's kicking a field goal at the final thing. Maybe there's some sort of desperate play to score or whatever the case might be.
Okay. Back to the real stuff. Mahomes over 4.5 rushing attempts. I like it. Again, I think he's going to be under fire.
Yeah.
And I think he'll rush over 4 times. I just believe that he doesn't have to get any yards. It's just the attempts. How many times does he escape the pocket?
No, I agree completely. I think that's an easy one. The pressure will probably dictate that he tucks it a few times, and also the nature of the Super Bowl. It's the final game. He'll be aggressive.
Yeah.
He knows he needs to be that, and part of that aggression is going to be with the feet.
Mahomes under 25.5 completions. Now, my thinking behind this is, again, 49ers have a really good defense. Secondary is a little weak, but how have the Chiefs been winning? They've been trusting their defense, and Mahomes have been managing the game, making plays when he needs to. That's been this entire playoff run. I know it's going to be a hard bet for you to put in because you're thinking Mahomes, you're thinking great quarterback play. He's going to come out and throw the ball all over the field, but that hasn't been the Chiefs this playoff run. You got to think consistency, what has been going on.
Yeah, I would tend to say the under 2, but because again, it's a difficult thing to quantify. You're correct. The Chiefs, their dynamic in the playoff has been a little bit more conservative with the running game and judicious passing. The other part of that, when you're talking about total completions, is time of possession. Yeah. The 49ers, they can be a dynamic offense, but they can also be an offense that eats up some time.
Yeah.
And this may be a low possession game, and that alone could have a significant impact. The scenario, the ideal scenario for him to get over the 25 is for them to literally go down early, and then he's just got to sling it around all night to stay in the game.
That's something to watch.
But I think any other scenario that the game, if it's a toe-to-toe game, if it's if the Chiefs get a lead like they did, against the Ravens, he's likely not to complete that many passes.
All right. If you like the Chiefs, you have to like this one. And that is Purdy over 0.5 interceptions.
Yeah.
Every game the 49ers have lost this season, Purdy has played bad and has had multiple interceptions that game. If the 49ers are going to lose, Purdy is going to have one interception or more. Interception and a fumble is going to happen, okay? And the Chiefs' defense, of course, we know now, they're really good. That secondary is really good, okay? And I think they pick off Purdy here once or twice. All right. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, if you like the Chiefs to be in the game, I think that's the scenario that's consistent with that.
Yeah.
Is he'll have to throw, and you said it's only half a pick.
Yeah.
So if he throws one pick, yeah. No, I think he'll throw a pick over the course of the game.
Okay. All right. Those are my best bets for the Super Bowl. Okay. I'm going to put those in. Prop bets I do pretty well with. Game bets I do awful with. So you got to stick with what you know.
So you found your niche as a gambler. King of the prop bet.
Yeah.
That's funny. We usually at the office we do one of these where they'll just give you a whole sheet.
The board, right? I like those. Oh, prop bets?
Yeah, just all sorts of stuff, like stuff like how long is the anthem going to be? Like
everything.
Like who, like
I'm thinking about the Super Bowl squares. I like that.
Oh no, not the square. I still don't understand the squares.
Yeah,
my whole life I've never figured it out. I'm befuddled by the squares. No, this will be like literally like maybe 10. Essential prop bets, basically.
Okay.
Who's going to lead at the half, who, whatever, all this stuff that it's really designed so that you don't have to be a football fan to, throw down some guesses and do okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Now they have so many crazy prop bets. They have one that says like, the anthem is going to last less than 2 minutes and a half.
That's always one. That's always one in ours.
Oh, for real?
Yes. Yeah.
Why is that? What are you like guessing? What the tempo of the person that sings, or
ultimately you're kind of taking a guess at the tempo that the singer will do. But like again, you don't. I don't know who's doing the anthem. I know Usher's doing halftime.
It's a white guy. I think it's a rock guy or something. I know it's a white guy.
Yeah.
Because because in that case, if it's like a soul singer. If it's like Fantasia, she's going to hold a lot of those notes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm taking the over on whatever soul singer.
Might throw in some ad-libs at the end.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So I guess that's the thing. I guess, okay, the tempo of the singer.
Yeah.
Oh, if there's any antics or anything, any nipples showing or anything, they can extend that.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. I remember, this was years ago. It was when the Patriots played the Panthers in the Super Bowl. And the anthem was done by Josh Groban. Do you know who he is?
Josh Groban?
Groban.
No.
He's like sort of like a classical, almost like he's not an opera singer, but he's like a classical singer. Really amazing singer. I was in my neighborhood, it was like a house full of people. I don't think anybody really knew who he was. I didn't know who he was. But at the end of him singing, like everyone just kind of looked at him and she goes, that guy's really good. Like it's just like I had no idea who this guy was before.
Those guys hold their notes long too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Those opera
singers. Oh.
Yeah. it was pretty cool because I
think I redeemed myself just then.
Got a long way to go. I'm very critical of singing, man.
No, I know you are.
Yeah.
You're a fan of some of the top man.
Yeah,
cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop, man. There's no use in torturing your ear. Listen to like Bubba and his level of singer. Yeah.
But all right, let's just quickly go over this. Like I said, this survey, I just thought it was interesting and fun. So they surveyed a ton of people who are going to be watching the Super Bowl, and just saying what they're going to be doing, what they're most interested in. All right. Okay. So where do you plan on watching this year's Super Bowl? So 51% said at home alone or with immediate family. 21% says hosting a party or, going to a get together.
51% watching Home Alone. That's high.
That's high, man. That's high.
Feels high.
And then 6%, a bar only got 6%. But I think that's about right. I think about 8 to 10% is about right. I think the Super Bowl, that big of an event, I think most people are going to some type of, somebody's house. That's their first option.
The Super Bowl definitely feels more of like a house party event than a go to the bar event.
Yeah.
So I think the higher percentage.
It almost reminds me like of a really big boxing match.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Like those are like in-house thing. Okay. All right, so which part of the Super Bowl experience are you most excited about?
The result.
The game, 43%.
Okay.
Commercials, 22%.
Yeah, that's big. That's big for people.
Yeah, that's big. The halftime show, 19%. Who do we have again? We have
Usher.
Yeah. And the food, 16%.
The food.
Because if you're
depends on where you're at.
Yeah, it depends on where you're at. That also sounds about.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah, because commercials, people. Yeah, because that's the water cooler thing.
Yeah.
People aren't talking about the game really. They're talking about these commercials.
Well, like the thing is the serious football fans, they're only going to talk about the game with other serious football fans.
yeah.
So, like, when you show up to your office on Monday, you're probably not surrounded, unless you're working at the NFL offices, like, not a lot of serious football people. So, oh, yeah, did you see the commercial for Doritos or whatever, and talk about that. So, it's just lighter topics, It's tough to get into, like, hey, the Chiefs really sucked on third down.
And she's like, hey, I really liked Rihanna and her hair.
Exactly.
And she was in the crowd. Did you see Taylor? How do you feel about Usher playing halftime? Okay.
I like it.
But here are some of the responses. Okay. I hope he brings out guests, 27%.
I agree with that.
It's going to be amazing, 24%. I wish it was someone else, 22%. And I just want him to perform, 18%.
Yeah. I'm not a UGA guy.
No, but he has to do it.
I don't know, man.
For the Super Bowl, it's a crunk song.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not so big on that, really.
Not so big?
Nah, that's one of his lesser songs for me.
What do you think is the highest percentage of go-to main course for Super Bowl? Like food?
Food?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What do you think won here?
Pizza or burgers?
Pizza is 25%, second place.
Okay.
Burgers is fourth place at 10%.
Ooh.
I'm surprised you missed this. Chicken wings, man.
Wings.
32%.
Because I'm not a huge wing guy.
Okay.
I'll order wings when I'm in a restaurant. I'm not messing with somebody's home-style wings.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't trust them.
Here goes a trick question. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. But
and I was like, the other problem is if you're throwing a party, like you got to be a pretty big baller to throw those steaks out for everybody.
Yeah.
I might steak myself. And the rest of you guys can eat some wings. I have a chicken allergy. Had to go with the ribeye.
What the last one here? What is the what do you think is everyone's beverage choice to beverage during the Super Bowl?
Beer.
Beer second place.
Beer second place.
Yeah. So first place is
White Claw. I know that's your first.
Soda came in first.
Soda, okay. I thought that stuff was almost assumed it was going to be an alcohol drink.
Yeah.
So I was like, beer's easy. But yeah. Okay, soda.
I'm a light beer guy during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Don't want to go too heavy. Get tequila up.
Might not make it to the second half.
Yeah, might not make it to the second half, man.
That would be awesome.
I would be looking for the near strip club.
That would be a great Bubba misses second half of Chiefs win. Too much tequila.
Too much tequila, man.
Out for the second half.
Return questionable.
I just talked to Coach Reed coming out of the locker room. Bubba is officially out.
Oh, man.
That's great.
All right. Let's go here. NBA.
Top 5?
Yeah. Top 5.
Oh,
man.
Okay. I didn't know it was an NBA topic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to discuss my top 5 most dangerous playoff teams off the grid. Most dangerous off the grid playoff teams. So, for example, Boston Celtics, they're disqualified here.
They're on the grid.
Denver Nuggets is on the grid. Milwaukee Bucks is on the grid. All of your top of the top teams, the Clippers, on the grid.
The Clippers are now on the grid. They were not on the grid at one point.
Right.
But now there's growing sentiment they're the favorite.
Yeah, which is very odd because, like I say, man, I mean, this is what Harden does. We were number 1 as well.
Somebody, all the other teams just need to find a way to offend him, and then it'll all fall apart.
But no need to diss them.
Or Kawhi gets injured.
They are looking good. Okay, so these are my top 5 teams you do not want to face in the playoffs off the grid.
These are yours, or other people have contributed to this thought process?
This is mine, but this is the list. It doesn't have to be Bubba's list. This is the list. This is the list that matters. This is the actual answer.
Bubba's speaking facts.
Okay.
In his own mind.
Number 5. I caught that late.
Yeah.
Number 5 is the Indiana Pacers. Okay.
Really?
Now here goes the thing. The reason why they make this list, they really only make it for one reason. and that's because they're currently in the 6th place, and Milwaukee is in the 3rd, and they've been whooping the Milwaukee Bucks' ass all season, and it's a bad matchup for them. If the Milwaukee Bucks end up in 3rd, everybody's going to pick Milwaukee Bucks because they have Giannis, they have Dame time, and they have this and they have that. But the Pacers are a bad matchup for them. They have length. They have length. Like, yeah, Giannis is going to do Giannis, but it's not going to be as efficient because they have Miles and they have Siakam over there, and they have length that can do something there. They have guards that are they're just too busy, too fast for Dame, too active. They're not just going to stand in the corner.
A lady in a wheelchair might be too active.
So it's just a bad matchup.
Yeah.
What's going on here? My phone is up. Okay. Oh, somebody called me. That's why.
Oh.
Treese called. She was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. I should have answered. All right, Treese, we do a live podcast every Wednesday.
You've been here. You know the story.
Come on, man. All right. So they're at number 5.
So, but it's kind of with the specific caveat that Milwaukee's the matchup.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I agree with the points you're making. I would have thought just in a vacuum that they're more of like an annoying gnat than truly dangerous.
And it's number 5. I got some better ones coming. But, yeah, with that caveat, because they're going to be the supreme underdog in that matchup. So I'm just saying they're dangerous because of that reason and for the Milwaukee Bucks. All right. Number 4 is the Suns. The Suns have been flying under the radar. They're when I watch them play, you get 2 outcomes. One is you watch them. You say that they need more around those 3 guys, but because those 3 guys they'll max contracts, you can't get more around them. And then I'll watch them again, and I'll say, damn, who is going to beat these guys with Durant being this efficient, with Devin Booker scoring 50 and 60? Bill has been looking good since he's been back. If they're healthy, they're good. Who's going to beat them? So it's Jekyll and Hyde. If you catch them while they're Jekyll, okay, you might be in trouble. All right, and that goes for any matchup, no matter who they draw in the first round. All right.
It's like having a puncher's chance at a boxing match.
Yeah.
When you have that level of scoring, and that is the elitist level of scoring that there is, like you can be in a 4th quarter of a game and one or both or 3 of those guys can just be untouchable, and you're not going to win that game.
Yeah.
There's just not a whole lot you could do. Those guys can each get that hot.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right. Number 3, I have the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks.
The gritty, gutty Knicks.
The gritty, gutty Knicks.
Or Villanova North.
That move for OG, to bring OG, it really solved a lot of their problems to bring OG over from Toronto, because you needed to give RJ and Quickly needed the ball to be effective. OG doesn't need the ball at all. So you get rid of 2 guys who need the ball to be effective, and then you bring in a guy who's just a catch-and-shoot guy, but add so much value to your already good defense, right? Because he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, and he's a bigger body, bigger frame than both of those guys you let go. You have that going, and, of course, you have this star at point guard, and he's running the show. Okay, I'm not a fan of our guy, power forward there, Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Not sure who else left is out there that is. But all that being said, the Knicks are a dangerous team.
His son's still fond of him.
Yeah. They are a tough team, and you don't want that in the first round because it's going to take so much out of you. No matter who they get in the first round, they're going to take a piece of flesh out of you. Okay, if not win altogether.
Jalen Brunson is really something else.
Yeah.
I mean, he's this sort of self-made star, and he's truly that at this point. He brings it every single night. He sets the tone for that team, and he does it in such a way that it's kind of like mitigated the importance of Julius Randle being either good or consistent, which he struggles to do. And it's funny, I remember I was hearing something the other day. It was like during the draft process, and they played, they had Hart, they had DiVincenzo, who were all together, plus they had Bridges. And somebody Jay Wright was talking to somebody, and he's like, why the hell aren't you guys drafting Brunson? Like, why is he the last guy on my team? He goes, he's been the best player on this team the entire time I had him.
Right.
And that's that thing, and I'm really big on it. When you have people together, you see that stuff. You see, like, who leads, who follows, who drives it. And, you know, for Jay Wright, for having him for the time that he did, it was unquestioned. Like, he's the leader of this group.
Wow.
You know, these other guys might, you know, have more apparent talent or whatever, but getting up and doing the work, this is the guy that we follow.
Yeah.
I also like it. Also, things recall or sends me back to a book I read involving Coach K at Duke, and he had this like theory. And, you know, every year you have a team, and like what, as a coach, you're trying to find what he called the heart of your team. And and that's usually a player. And Coach K was like, it may not even be your best basketball player, but it's the person who puts the most heart into it that the other guys are going to follow, even if they have more talent, because that, you know, the heart of your team is the natural leader of your team.
Exactly.
His efforts, his purpose, they all come through day to day, and that can drag the rest of the group with him. And I think that Jalen Brunson is the NBA personification of that, because he's not the most talented guy in the NBA. He's probably not close to that.
Right.
But there's a substance to his game, to his character, to his day in, day out competition that pulls any team that he's with forward. And it happened in college. I'm sure it probably happened in high school as well. And we're seeing that in the NBA. The Knicks are no longer a joke. They're, for the first time since like Pat Riley or Van Gundy were there, they're like a team of substance.
Yeah.
Even when they had the year with like Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith, and they had a bit of success, I think they might have won 50 games, they flamed out in the playoffs, and the team just felt soft. They were talented, but they didn't feel like a team of substance. This iteration of the Knicks feels different. And I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. They are a Julius Randle replacement away from being serious contenders.
Yeah.
But first round, you still don't want to see them. All right. Number 2, and again, this is my top 5 off-the-grid teams that you do not want to face in the playoffs. All right. Number 2, I have Dallas Mavericks. All right.
What are they seated right now?
Dallas is what? Off the top of my head, I want to say 5th, but I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, and the reason why I have the Dallas Mavericks is simple. It's Luka and it's Kyrie. All right, and Dallas right now is they're 8th.
They're 8th.
All right, they're 8th. Oof. Yeah. But they're only one game away from being. They're a game and a half away from being 6th. Okay. Oh, for being 5th, actually. Those teams are from 5 to 8. Only one game and a half separates them.
Throw a blanket from.
Yeah, but man, when I watched them, like last night, I watched that whole game, and it was a Kyrie special against Brooklyn, and Kyrie went off. But Luka had like 19 rebounds or something crazy, and Luka, to me, I mean, you know, you're not the biggest fan of it watching his game, but it's clear to me he's the best offensive weapon in the league, and what he could do to control a game is just it's outrageous how he could just control the entire game. It's like he has this controller and this and that. But you know, they have a lot of weaknesses on that team. Not a lot outside of him and Kyrie. And Kyrie has been hurt quite a bit this season, but he's back now. But with Kyrie, with Luka, you know, it's just not a team you want to see in that first round, man. Anything goes. You know.
Yeah, I'm officially going to be on the I don't like Luka bandwagon.
Yeah.
I respect that he's a significant player, but I feel it was a bit of a controversy this week where Jason Kidd came out and said that he's basically on the highest level of this.
Yeah, he's saying he's on Jordan. And all that.
I cry foul on that. I think he's a lot closer to James Harden than he is LeBron or Michael. And I think he's superior to Harden. He's a one side of the ball guy. He plays basketball exclusively his way, which is great. I'm not going to say he's not great, but there's a reason that they didn't make the playoffs last year. There's a reason they're sitting in the back half of the West now with a guy that people are saying belongs with the absolute greats of the greats.
Yeah, but that's a roster construction problem, not a Luka problem.
It's also
because number one,
he also like
Kyrie's been out most of the year.
But what is the roster construction around him?
Kyrie's been out most of the year.
I understand he's out.
If Kyrie plays, like I said, like if you look at their schedule and the games that they played, right? They've won a lot more games than they lost with Kyrie in the lineup. With Kyrie.
Better team with Kyrie. They should be.
And that's why I'm saying that they're a dangerous team. And because it's already a weak roster because of the mistakes that Mark Cuban and the front office have made. They made the Jalen Brunson mistake. They've made the big guy mistake. Okay, now they have Porzingis mistake. They've made just tons of mistakes after mistakes. They haven't did anything positive.
No, I accept that they are a dangerous playoff team. I accept the premise of where you're putting them for purposes of this exercise. My broader point is that I think we're being oversold on how great Luka is.
So what credit does he get for he's been to the Western Conference Finals?
One time.
That's fine. You acting like he's a 13-year pro. He's been in the league like 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years, one finals appearance.
Yeah.
Conference finals appearance.
Yeah.
Did not.
So
make
what's wrong with Jason Kidd saying that? Because look at Jordan's career. But look at Jordan's career. When did Jordan make the Eastern Conference Finals in his first whatever years?
I'm not sure.
And how many times did he? And then he missed the playoffs too. I mean, like,
when did he miss the playoffs?
I assume it's the year he got hurt.
No, they made the playoffs because he came back and dropped 63 on the Celtics.
That was the year he missed like 60 games.
That's what made it ridiculous.
Well, that doesn't make it ridiculous.
Well, it does. You miss 60 games.
You miss 60 games and your team still makes the playoffs? That means your team is good.
And you come against...
If Luka gets hurt for 60 games, this team is in the lottery.
Then you come against this one of the great Celtic teams of all time and have a
but if Luka misses 60 games, this team is in the lottery.
I get
drafting
that. But
number one overall.
But in the picture of what I'm saying is that the way Luka plays, it's reminiscent of James Harden, where he's literally asked to do everything.
This is not reminiscent of James
Harden.
It
is.
If anything, it's reminiscent of LeBron, not James.
No, because LeBron, at this part of his career, was a two-way destroyer. Luka is ineffective defensively.
I wouldn't say ineffective. He's gotten a lot better on that end. If you look at his defensive metrics, it has really, really improved vastly over last year to this year. That's number one. He's a 1,000 times better rebounder than James Harden has ever dreamed of being. Okay, so I don't think it's reminiscent of Harden just because.
I'll concede he's better than Harden. I'm not saying he's worse than Harden, but I'm saying he's closer to what Harden is than he is to what LeBron James or Michael Jordan were.
And he's just dragged his team to the Western Conference Finals. He's done things. You know, he's done
one thing. That accomplishment.
What else do you have?
That singular accomplishment.
He's just entering his prime.
Hey, history will bear me out. I'm comfortable with that.
What? I mean, LeBron had the early finals run, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, he had the in the early Cleveland years, he had the one finals run.
No, then he lost to the Magic to go to the finals.
Yeah.
And then the Celtics boxed him out a time or two.
Yeah.
So,
but he's not LeBron because LeBron was a superior defensive player.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you're talking,
but that's the Jason Kidd comment. I'm not tackling that.
But it's the same. He has the same critique that goes against Steph, that goes against Harden and those guys, and that as great as you are, you're really great on one side of the ball. And when we talk about some of the absolute upper tier guys, they did more. And that's the point that I'm making. Let's not fool ourselves and elevate this guy too high. But we go into this season.
That's Jason Kidd, man. That's not us.
I get
that's not me, and that's not us.
But I get it.
Who else is saying that?
I'm speaking to Jason Kidd.
Well, speak to Jason. But you're speaking to me now, and I'm not saying he's Jordan. Okay. I'm not saying he's LeBron.
Good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
I'm upset for 10 seconds. I even talked about Jordan in the finals and LeBron, and because you got me mixed up, and I'm 1,000% not comparing comparing Luka Doncic to LeBron James or Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm not doing.
And
What I am doing
I just
is
wanted
I'm saying
to make the public service announcement so that we're not going too far in that direction.
Right. What I am saying, though, he is a top 2, top 3 player in this league in 2023, 2024, and he's the best offensive weapon that we do have in the NBA. It's not even close in my assessment. All right.
Okay. And he's an unwatchable piece of shit. Yeah. But what I learned, like what he brought out to me, is that for me, speed matters. I need to have talent with speed to be entertained.
To be entertained.
I do.
But do you want to win games?
Fast people win.
Some.
He's not. Let's not stop. The guy's sitting in 8th place in the fucking West.
Tyrese Maxey is the fastest in the league.
Let's stop saying
Luka is better.
I understand he's better. I'm just saying, like, my personal preference.
You prefer watching Tyrese Maxey, right?
I would, yeah.
And I would trade Tyrese Maxey for Luka Doncic. Like, hello.
I know. I would trade him
yesterday.
I would trade him
1,000 years ago.
I agree with the trade. I'm saying
Trae Young is faster than Luka. Do you think Atlanta want that trade back?
I don't like Trae Young.
But do you think Atlanta wants that?
Yeah, I'm not.
That draft back?
I'm not disputing that. I'm simply telling you that in my personal preference, one of the things I dislike about I don't like slow things. I don't like slow people. I don't like slow minds. I don't like.
Jokic is slow.
I'm not a huge. I don't jerk off watching Jokic.
A lot of people do. They watch their assessment of
it. Yeah. I mean, that's wild. Yeah.
Number 1 on this list is the Miami Heat.
Really?
Yeah. I'm
surprised.
It is the Miami Heat, and I was surprised as well. But here goes the thing.
Surprise yourself.
They're doing what the Miami Heat do. They're not doing anything different. They're going to finish between 6 and 8. That's what they always do, and that's what makes them dangerous. The big teams, they end up beating them. Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks. Seems like every single fucking year. Jimmy does this thing where during the regular season, you're questioning if he's close to the end. He has games sporadically where he has really good games. And the difference this year, though, is he still has those games where you look at it as sporadically good, and he's really good. He hits a game winner here, or he comes down the stretch, hit a lot of big buckets here and there. But the big games this year from other players just have been so enormous to where his good games don't even look, comparable. But they're the exact
You're
same.
Saying league-wide.
League-wide.
Okay, yeah.
These 70-point games.
Yeah,
these,
okay.
These, whatever, Jokic 40-point triple-doubles and stuff. It looks different, but Jimmy is staying the exact same. His 30 points is a big game for him. 30 points and 10 rebounds, a game winner, or 5 points in the last 10 seconds here. And that team is and the pieces that they let go that we talked about before the season started, doesn't matter. They have a rookie in there who's the 3rd best rookie in the league, and what's his name, Jaquez or something.
Yeah, Jaime Jaquez.
He's been fucking awesome. Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
And the rest of the team. I mean, they're Kyle Lowry. Did they get rid of him or release him?
He was part of the trade for from the Celtics, Terry Rozier.
For Terry. Yeah, for Terry.
Not Celtics, obviously the Hornets.
The Hornets.
Which is I've always liked Rozier. I liked him when he was a Celtic. I think he's got he plays hard. He's got a little moxie to him.
He's boom or bust though,
yeah.
which is good, but still good for Miami because he gives them that scoring punch alongside Hero,
and he gives you a little bit more athleticism in the guards. Like with
Lowry,
Lowry was there, and then again when you're getting minutes with Duncan Ferguson and like some of these other guys, Duncan Robinson. And Hero's not terribly athletic, so it gives you another guy. The guy that I felt was very good in the playoffs last year, was it Martin?
Yes,
longer athletic guy, Caleb. Yeah. So I think like Rozier gives them real roster versatility, and a nice addition there.
Yeah, and also they have the best coach in basketball. I mean, really, when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
His in-game adjustments, his strategies is just bar none. So yeah, that is my 5 there. Again, Pacers at 5, Suns at 4, Knicks at 3, Mavs at 2, Miami Heat at 1. Top 5 teams you do not want to see
I'm going to compliment you on that list because when we were talking about like the under the radar or off the grid teams, I was like, man, are there really 5 out there? But you found 5.
Yeah,
valid arguments for each.
Yeah,
well done, Bubba.
I wanted to add the 76ers in there just because we're off the grid now, and they're saying that Embiid is supposed to come back before the playoffs. But I didn't.
They said
feel
what 4
comfortable
weeks they're talking about.
4 weeks he would be reevaluated. So not a definite comeback in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I if he does come back, it's definitely like right before the playoffs. But even then, he's going to be out of shape. He's not going to be right. So I'm not sure.
I think the interesting thing with the Sixers though will be like, where do they end up positionally going into the playoffs? Because then that could flip the dynamic. If they somehow stay like 4 or higher, then they're facing like a opponent theoretically they're supposed to beat. But if they drop down into the play-in stuff, then they become that team like, oh God, do we really want to play, a now 7 seed Sixer team with Embiid back?
Well, we're definitely going to fall there.
Yeah.
Because these guys are just not good. Maxey is Maxey. Maxey is good. He's an all-star. But outside of that, these guys are just not good. And it really shows you. I mean, but to say not good is not a fair statement because they built this team around Embiid. So you have a lot of catch and shoot players, particular defenders and things like that. And it looks different and it looks better around Embiid. But when Embiid is out, there's no one that is causing double teams, right? So these guys are not open. Yeah. And so they're not taking open threes anymore, and they're not creating shots. And the thing about Max, he's only a self-creator right now. It's so young in his career. He's not a creator for others. He's a creator for self, and that really hurts the team. And not hurts the team. It's just we don't And Tobias, he's another guy he looks better around Embiid, but when Embiid's not there, I just wish he would go in the barn with a shotgun
and do himself in. Yeah. No, but it's a great point. Like you construct a team around your star.
Yeah.
And it's the way you have to do it.
Yeah,
like the financial realities of NBA basketball is that you have to do that. And then when that star goes down, you're really stuck in a difficult position because basically everybody on the roster gets pushed or stretched a spot too far.
Yeah.
And now you're just trying to survive in that situation. It's difficult, man.
But in an ideal world, you do want what some other teams have. Like when Kyrie misses 20 games, I mean, Luka could kind of and the opposite. If Luka misses 10 to 15 games and Kyrie's there, Kyrie can hold it for it. With the Clippers, if Kawhi go out, then you got Paul and you got Harden, and because these other guys, and that's the difficult thing for the Sixers moving forward. I didn't want to make this to make a Sixers topic, but what's interesting is they're going to have to make a decision whether they want to go for the 2 or for the 3 stars, because again, Maxey is not a creator for others. When you look at these other teams, their second star can create for others, and that's the thing, So Giannis and Dame, both of those guys can do that. Jaylen Brown, not so much. So I guess you have that, but you have Drew Holiday over there. He can create for others.
And to be fair, in a Celtic dynamic, I mean, Derek White does a lot of
that.
Yeah.
You have Wright and Holiday over there. So yeah, so it's a roster construction issue, but we have cap space. We have things to trade for. I'll see where he goes. They're talking about getting the shooter from the Pacers, Buddy Hield, which again, that's just a guy who will look better around Embiid. They're talking about maybe Bruce Browns of the world, things like that. So they're not talking about getting another star. So that'd be interesting. So they're counting on Embiid to come back and make a run this year. So we'll see.
But and I know like when Harden went to the Clippers, I remember I was fairly critical of it. But like the one thing that I said is like their whole strategy might be that we're going to have enough of these guys that if 1 or even 2, we still might have something sustainable. Yeah. Because they've literally, since Kawhi and Paul George arrived, have never gotten to the end of the season and had those 2 guys healthy. They've always been in this situation where they just didn't have enough. And it's like with the Harden trade, it's like we've got, including Russ, we've got 3.5, 4 guys that you can kind of play around.
Yeah, but they've been really blessed this year because Kawhi's only missed like 2 to 3 games.
Right, but
he's the league MVP right now.
Right now, you have everybody's healthy, everything's great, and like they're 25-5 in this situation.
Yeah.
So they're playing at a tremendous level. The question is, are they all going to be healthy in the playoffs in 2 months? And then but that's where they hedge their bet. Like, hey, we got 4 guys, maybe we might have 3. We might still be enough to win. And that's the thing. I mean, honestly, the more you look at it, if they're all healthy, like, who beats them? It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough. And the only team I could foresee really beating them is Denver, because they have an offsetting piece, right? The Clippers they're vulnerable inside.
Yeah.
So you have that Jokic piece.
It's almost the one thing they're not suited to deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
But anything else, I mean, like the other teams, like the Mavs and the OKC Thunder and the Pelicans, I think the Clippers they're made for those teams. Yeah. So they won't have an issue there. But the Denver is that one caveat there.
Yeah. Even you go to like a Dallas in a series, it's like they can like have Kawhi go at
No, that's what I said. They're suited
Luka.
for the Mavs.
Yeah, and it's I mean, it'd be really interesting. Or they could have Paul George do it, and then they have enough offense with the other guys that they can really lock in and do that. You almost become like a glorified role player, but you have an assignment, and you do it.
Yeah. No, for sure. This Klay thing, man. So Klay Thompson, he's been benched in their last 2 fourth quarter games there, which the Golden State Warriors have actually won. And last game he was benched in favor of their late second round rookie at that. And
is that the Podzinski guy?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
And so Klay was at the locker and they had to ask him, and they asked him, how does he feel about the young guys, but he's not getting burned. So it was a really tough situation. And then Draymond comes in and adds in. And we talked about Klay a little earlier in the season. And, we know that it's a tough season. It's not awful. He's not awful this year. It's just that, he's on a max contract. He's not performing as that. He knows he's not performing as what he would like to do. He's actually younger than Steph. I don't know if people know that, but Klay is only like 32, 33 years old. So you're supposed to be in your prime still. Really, you're not supposed to be past your prime at this age, but clearly he is.
But two
he's coming
major
off a big injuries.
Back-to-back major injuries.
Yeah,
have really taken his thing away. And again, as a professional, as a competitor, he's tremendously frustrated with himself, with the things that he can't do, and he knows this better than we do. Because he feels it, knows the plays. I used to be able to do that. I can't get to that spot now. And he feels that night to night, play to play. And that's brutal to go through as an athlete. And then, it's to the extent now, I think it has clearly affected his confidence. It's affected his body language. It's affected him now as a teammate. He's begrudgingly saying the right things, but a lot of the stuff you see in the sideline and the body language tells you this is a guy that's just struggling with this whole process. And Draymond was very much in that place when he was melting down earlier. He was frustrated with himself and things like that. And his manifestation of that was to take additional cheap shots at people. and that's what he did.
Right.
That's the way he acts out. Klay is a different personality type. He acts out in a different way. But those two guys are in the same freaking position. And it's sad and it's tough, but it's inevitable. Because they're, particularly Klay's always, kind of been a great guy. I mean, he's been just a funny guy in the NBA, a great competitor, and all of that.
The difference
and to see him go through this it's difficult to watch.
What's funny is the difference between the two. And most people, if you ask most people, when you think about their runs, they're going to contribute Klay to be more important to Golden State runs than Draymond, or say that Klay was the better player. I've always sided towards Draymond to being that, because you have to look. It has to be more than shooting the ball, right? And that's the thing. This year, Klay hasn't been awful shooting the ball. Now, lately he's been awful. But if you look at the collection of the total year, I mean, he's shooting about 36, 37%, which is slightly above league average. Like, that's okay. You know, that's fine. You're slightly above average there. All right, but really his hit has been on the defensive side of the ball. That's why they have to take him out of these games. They don't have to take him out of these games because he's missing some threes. You're gonna miss some. You're gonna make some. You know, Steph went like 2 games in a row where he was like 0 for whatever, 20 or something like that, or something early in the year. So that's going to happen. But defensively, he just cannot move anymore. You know, like this second round pick, I mean, you know, he's a weak shooter, but he can move and guard guys and stay in front of guys a little more. Draymond, you know, the thing is, he's just always going to be there and have been defensively for him. You know, when he was struggling, it was more of like bad decisions, like you said, fighting guys and his shooting just. I mean, he was never the strongest shooter, but he really went to shits, and they just people didn't have to, you know, guard him at all. So it's been a different situation. They never had to bench Draymond. You know, they never had to take him off the court in favor of another player. So it's a different situation. And also, you know, it's also interesting is they offered Klay a contract at the beginning of this year. You know, he's a free agent after this year. They offered him a contract. He turned it down because it wasn't a max. You know what I mean? He thought that was disrespectful, and he's done this and that. Now I wonder if he's wishing he would have took that money.
Well, here the reality is like that is very much a part of what's happening. Like, you know, he made that decision betting on himself.
Yeah.
And most successful athletes, their success and achievements are rooted in betting on yourself.
Facts.
Now you're in a situation where you made the bet on yourself, and you know you're losing the bet.
Yeah.
And like, so you have your on-court moments where you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or not what you think you're capable of doing. It's all building. You're realizing we're in the back half of the season now. I'm not going to get near the offer that was on the table before the year. They may not even want me here again under any conditions. You don't know. And at this point, you're not particularly attractive to any team that's a contending team.
Do you want out if you're Klay?
That, I think, is what he's struggling with. Like, if he had the upper hand in this, and he's like, well, hey, I recognize they don't want to do this, but I'm playing well. I know I could help a team. I can help Milwaukee. I can help whoever, the Lakers, whatever. Like, you'd feel good. But it's so bad right now. Like, who's the team that he helps? And it's extra embarrassing now. I mean, because, again, you know, there's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter who starts the game, but you definitely want to finish a game. And he's not finishing games. Like, you got to realize what an enormous slap in the face that is.
Yeah.
Like, when you're a guy that's
especially
won multiple you've won multiple championships. Yeah. You've been on the floor in absolute high leverage moments.
Yeah.
And, you know, as big a moments as this era has given us, and now you're over on the bench as an observer. Like, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That is horrific. And I'm not saying it's not deserved. I get where we're coming from. And I think that people, particularly people that are younger, like, they're not even going to know. Like Klay was like a legit two-way force. That was his thing. Like, he could erupt offensively. But the thing about the championship caliber Warrior teams was he was a really good defender.
Yes.
He could stay with guys, defend guys, give very good players a hard time. Draymond quarterbacked the defense with his anticipation and play reading, and they covered for Steph. Well, now Klay's defense is diminished to a level like you can only cover so many things.
Yeah.
You can't cover Steph and him defensively with what you currently got. And Draymond, I mean, yeah, he's still a communicator, but he's not what he was defensively.
No. He's a diminished product
as well.
And
so there's just nothing going on defensively. And that's, the elite part of this, the Splash Brothers and all that, it still came down to defense. They were a championship team because they could put the clamps on people when it mattered. And now they haven't been, and that's the biggest drop-off they have. You highlight it. It's like his shooting percentage is not, unacceptable. It's maybe not its peak, but it's the drop-off is the defense, and then specifically the environment in which he's defending with other aging guys that can't really defend.
Yeah.
And they really, the way their rotations have gone and stuff like that, they really haven't even, like, found a place for Peyton, who's usually a plus defender.
Yeah.
And so he's out of the rotation, and he was a guy that they could put on the floor that could guard different types of guys and provide some coverage for the other guys, and he's not in the rotation. Like you said, the guy that's playing for Clay, he might be better than current Clay on defense, but he's not a move-the-needle defender either.
No.
This is a team. This is a team as presently constituted cannot guard people.
Yeah. And
you there's no recipe to win a lot of games if you can't guard anybody.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. Now, I struggle. Sometimes I say I'll take him, but it is tough. I don't think they're going to move him. It may be to their detriment, because if there is a move to be made, I think the Golden State should make it. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is they shouldn't just hold on to him because, hey, he's helped us out and he's been there for this championship run and X, Y, and Z. That's not a valid reason to keep him.
But you're alluding to like a move before the deadline now.
Yes. Before,
basically.
And
that's like again, look at what's happening. You've already dropped his value because you're not playing him in clutch situations. Like who wants him right now? Who thinks that that's a midseason move that gets him over?
Does he still have enough name cachet though to oversee? Because it could be like a situation thing, or it's not, it could, because it's not like a, it's the only thing I can think of, but it's not like a Ben Simmons situation.
No, it's not. But again, you're like the better teams are probably better teams because they're smart and they make good decisions, and I don't think Klay Thompson's a good decision.
But he's only a rental. It's not like you have to put up for another 2-3 years.
But you still have to give something of value to him.
That maybe.
And that's you have to. Like the Warriors are not just gonna give up Klay Thompson.
Why not? If in their mind they're saying we're just going to move off of him next year and utilize that.
But here's why they're not going to do that. Is that nobody's going to offer anything of good value for Klay Thompson right now before this trade deadline because it's a 3-month rental. And the Warriors are not going nowhere. The Warriors are not going anywhere. They're not going to give up Klay, a franchise legend, for peanuts for 3 months. They can get to the end of this year and they can mutually part ways or whatever you want to do and do it with some class or dignity. But to give up Klay Thompson for 2 bench guys with whatever,
and a first,
that's not going to move. Nobody's going to give a first for Klay Thompson right now. Nobody's going to do that.
Maybe not.
For 3 months of diminished Klay Thompson, and that's why I said what I said. Like the better teams are better for a reason.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to make that move. In a vacuum, some team maybe in the offseason who thinks maybe we'll add Klay Thompson and be better, they might make that kind of move and give up a first-round pick. But the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Clippers, no, they're not going to do that. And that's the team that they would do that. But to ship him off to the Bobcats for 2 bags of fucking peanuts, like come on.
He'd be running up and down with LaMelo there.
Yeah.
Let's go to this Austin Rivers thing really quick here. The video is going to play. Where you at, Austin? Okay, here we go.
I hope it doesn't happen. I don't want to see Bronny play with his dad. I really don't.
Why?
If he is to go in the draft or if he gets picked, it'd be great to get picked up by a contending team that could help him, put him in a situation, because he does have talent. He does have basketball IQ. He has potential. Him going and play with his dad, at this point in his career, just because Bronny's success isn't at a top-tier level,
right,
him getting drafted and playing with his dad, I don't want that negativity to come his way because he doesn't deserve it. LeBron James is the most popular basketball player to ever play, other than who? Maybe Michael Jordan?
Right.
It just would be a lot, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I hope for the kid that he's able to not only play in the NBA, but play somewhere where he can kind of niche out his own identity. His name's already Bronny. You know what I mean? Everything that we talk about with him, it always kind of folds back to his dad, rightfully so. He plays for USC, and his dad plays down the street for the Lakers. It's just an insane situation, and the way he's handled it, I'm a fan of Bronny. I really am, but I hope it goes somewhere else. I really do.
Yeah. So what was your overall take on that before we get to the Steven Jackson piece?
I think that Austin Rivers is uniquely situated to make that comment.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy that, again, he was a high-level high school guy. He goes to Duke. He's a lottery pick in the NBA, and not by any surprise. But he got off to a slow start in the NBA career and ended up playing for his dad. And that like shadowed his entire experience. I mean, there was a lot of haters out there, that just felt, oh, he's only in the league because of his dad. and I always push back against that because I've known Austin since he was in 7th grade, when he first was like the best 7th grader in the country. Yeah. And I knew him then. And I've known him kind of all along. And it's like I've always respected his work ethic, and I've always respected the way he's approached it. And I've been on the side of the court when he would get a call in a high school and AAU game, and everybody, you just got that call against your dad, you ain't shit. Like, I heard that stuff. Like, and when you're that guy, and he was that guy, like, nobody else in the gym, nobody else at fucking Wide World of Sports at Disney is getting that. And I'm sure, like, Bronny's had similar because, I mean, LeBron's bigger than Doc and all that. And so, I mean, to me, he's uniquely situated to say, hey, pump the brakes. This might not be as great as you think it is. Now, there's a part of me, and I've kind of felt this, like, as a dad, it'd be pretty awesome to, like, play with your son. That would be an amazing thing. And as a father, I see that, and I see how special that would be. But I completely understand where Austin's coming from for this. And particularly, again, if Bronny was further along, maybe, if he was, like, decisively a top 5 pick, maybe it's all different because he's already, like, kind of his own, guy. And there's a greater expectation that, he stands on his own. But the reality is he's had a pretty poor, underwhelming season at USC. If he does go into the draft this year or next without a major improvement, like, there's going to be a sense, that team only took him because LeBron's his dad and they want to play together. He's going to have to overcome that some way. And the reality is LeBron is so big, like Austin was talking about. You're not getting out from underneath that shadow.
You're just not. To the point where it's like, what is the problem here? What is the issue with what Austin says? Yeah. He's speaking from experience. He has experience. His dad played in the NBA and coached. Okay, he was on Doc Rivers' team. He saw all of all the things you just said. All of the nonsense and BS that people were commenting and saying and still say to this day, even though Austin is not even actively on an NBA roster. He's only there because of Doc. He's ex, and it's just he's speaking from a place that he knows. He's speaking from a place that he's been to. He's traveled to. He's been there, done that. Yeah. So for Steven Jackson to come and comment, just randomly comment under this, and say, and your daddy not LeBron, shut up. And then he says the difference is you trash, Bronny not. You can't compare to him, scrub. What? First of all, where are you getting that from? Where is your what's to say that Bronny is better than Austin?
Well, I mean, like, first of all, square it up honestly. Like, Austin, at this exact point, freshman year of college, he was a higher regarded high school prospect. He was a top, literally top 5 high school product. Kind of fell behind Anthony Davis late in that recruiting cycle, but signed with Duke, immediately played. At this time last year, he hit a game-winning shot.
I almost got evicted.
On that shot?
Yeah, I almost got evicted. A game-winning shot against North Carolina, their number 1 rival.
Yeah, in what many feel is the best rivalry in college basketball. I mean, he's way ahead of where Bronny is.
So where are you getting this information from that Bronny is better than Austin? Yeah. At what point? What are you talking about? Now take that part out of it, and then and your daddy not LeBron. Well, Austin didn't say that. Yeah. He didn't say anything close to that. He was just comparing that situation, which is a similar situation. Yeah. You can't go around it. It's a similar situation.
In the modern era, like that, he's the closest thing to having anything comparable to what Bronny's gone through. Yeah. And I'll concede there are significant differences, but in the modern era, that is the closest parallel we have.
So whether he's right or wrong, he's qualified to speak on the situation and give his point of view, and there is no dissing. He's not dissing Bronny. All he's saying is, hey, at the level that Bronny is at now, I don't think it would be such a great idea to play on the same team as LeBron because of the comments. And I know Steven Jackson has that show, All the Smoke, and he's in the media. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he needs to get back in the news. But he does this every once in a while. He'll do this. Well, he'll create something. He did that thing with Kwame Brown and went back and forth there, and he'll do this every once in a while. But just come out of the blue with some crazy statement just to, I don't know, he's going to be in the news cycle for the next couple of days, but it's like, come on, man.
But I mean, I also think like again, their podcast is like good enough that he doesn't need to do this. Like it stands on its own. It's good. They have great content. They have great stuff.
Maybe
you don't need to do this.
I won't say maybe. It is a good podcast. They do have good content, but if you really want to think about it and say it, a lot of these newer podcasts with professional ball players they're doing better, and they're better watches.
Yeah.
And maybe part of that reason is because they have, a lot of hot takes on them and things like that. But if you think about it, man, a lot of these athletes, All the Smoke it wasn't the first by any stretch, but it was early on in the process. A lot of other athletes have gotten platforms and shows post All the Smoke. And a lot of them are doing a lot better. I'd rather watch J.J. Redick over All the Smoke. I'd rather watch Shannon Sharp over All the Smoke. I'd rather watch Ryan and those guys over All the Smoke.
The Pivot.
Yeah, the Pivot. It's a lot of these other athletes. Cam Newton. It's a lot of other athletes I'd rather watch.
I don't like Cam
before
Newton.
I get to.
I do not
All
like
the Smoke.
Cam Newton.
If he gets a good interview, I don't watch just on regular. Just like every day.
I can't tolerate him.
If he gets an interesting interview, I'll watch though.
He's too much of an ass clown. For me.
Yeah, but he's sometimes he's accurate on the game managers. And everybody shitted on him.
What was his take on the game manager?
When he was talking about Purdy and Dak, remember it was like the middle of the season, and he came out was like, Dak is a game manager, and this was when Dak was fucking, the Dallas was doing awesome, and it was big games. Purdy was the league MVP and all of that, and he said, there's only a couple of quarterbacks that move the needle and are that guy. And but guys like Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy are game managers. He named a couple more that were obvious, but everybody was shitting on him. I'm talking about everybody.
Yeah, but
Ron got to be 1,000% accurate.
Well, but if Purdy wins on Sunday, I don't think that. I mean, that doesn't
what does that say?
As good.
Why?
Purdy made some plays. I mean, I'm still not a huge fan. But
a lot of quarterbacks that win Super Bowls make plays.
He made some plays, and he started to show a bit more than game manager, I thought. And again, if he wins Sunday, I think it's going to take a little something special.
Yeah, I mean, of course it depends on what it looks like.
But I'm saying like
he comes out and throws for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. But
I'm saying like
what is Bubba or Cam talking about?
Well, I mean, Cam would have been 1,000% right if Purdy lost already, if he was home. And the fact is, he's not.
Yeah, I mean that's
you can't be saying somebody's
we've already
1,000 point.
Yeah,
correct.
because we've already went through this. We know that Purdy is a game manager. Game managers can win Super Bowls. Game managers can play well in Super Bowls. We've seen it 100 times, or not, whatever, 10, 15, whatever the times it was. We've seen it, but we've already established throughout this season that he's a game manager. That he is the support of the team. This team is fucking loaded, man.
I think it was Kittle who said and if you think about it, it's kind of true. But he's like, I'm on a team with a bunch of superheroes, which when you look at like Trent Williams, you look at Bosa, you look at Kittle, you look at McCaffrey.
Debo may be the biggest superhero of them all.
They do have some dudes for sure.
Yeah,
but I mean. Yeah. Again, I've already said I'm a little tired of the Purdy thing. I get the game manager thing. I'm not completely sold, but I think we have to keep some perspective in the sense of this. This is year 2 for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's shown growth in this year. He got hurt in the playoffs last year, but he's shown growth. He's made some plays when they've needed plays to be made in the playoff, and there was a period of time when Tom Brady was a game manager.
Yeah,
and he evolved beyond that.
Yeah,
so
you can't evolve.
That's why I And what I'm hesitating on is when you're saying this is 1,000% right, because we don't know what we're seeing with Purdy.
No.
With
And
Dak,
you miss, and I don't know if you're missing it or what, but what you are doesn't mean what you would become.
Right.
Yes, Tom Brady was a game manager. If Cam Newton would have said that the first year, second year, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, and they did win the Super Bowl, and even though he won the Super Bowl, he still was a game manager. If Cam Newton says, "Hey, Tom Brady's a game manager," nobody would have argued because he was 1,000% correct. And Purdy could still win the Super Bowl this year, but he's still correct now. As you say, as time goes on and he grows, he gets better or whatever. Yeah, things will change. If you become a better player, then you become a better whatever. You know what I'm saying? Adjective. But that's that. Now, but on this, I think we've established Steven Jackson is out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
And the fucking clown.
And the clown. Wow.
Yeah.
Harsh words for Captain Jack.
Captain Jack.
No, it just to me it's just a bad take.
Let me give a quick shout out here to Coach Baruti and the guys here. So on February 18th, they're having another pop-up shop. Now, these pop-up shops are really interesting because they have the pop-up shop and then they do the brotherhood, manhood, fatherhood conversation that you've been a part of, I've been a part of as well. But the pop-up shop is really amazing because they have these vendors that come out there and they have this really good food truck that comes out and that serves really good food for a good price.
Then they have the indoor cigar place too.
Indoor cigar place. So you have cigars, you have these what the women wear, the Pandora things, those people out there, different clothes, you have natural soaps. And things like that. Then you have
and liquor drinks too.
Liquor drinks and even the funny sweets, man, the edibles. They're out there too. A lot of things that you could think of that's going to be out here at this pop-up shop at really great prices. Okay, all black businesses. February 18th, the address and everything is on that exclusive pop-up shop. And then you can stop in for the conversation. Love Matters. Okay, it's the Valentine's Day show. Okay, so they're going to be talking some really good stuff there.
And what's really cool, having been on that conversation twice, like it's an open forum. Now there'll be like a panel of speakers, but there's a place for people to sit and watch, and it's easy to participate. Like if somebody says something that you want to have a take on, you're free to basically stand up, say what your opinion is, engage in the conversation, which is really fun. I mean, it's really a great setup, and to have the opportunity to kind of talk about some of these things. He really loves that love, though. That's like one of Coach Baruti's big things, man. He's all about love and relationships and those matters. So it'd be funny, like this is after Valentine's Day, so I don't know if people be able
how
to
much
say,
love is going to be around
people be able to express what their Valentine's Day was like. Did it meet expectations? Was there a disappointment? Like, could be an interesting conversation.
There you go. All right. Just some fun here. I don't know if can you see these faces here?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, so I came across this on social media. I thought this was very interesting. Basically, who would win out of these, on these 3-on-3 matchups? Team Red is Joel Embiid, Michael Jordan, and James Harden. Okay, Team Yellow, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. Team Green, Larry Bird, Larry Legend, Jason Tatum, and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Huh.
Interesting matchups here.
Yeah.
I know who I have here. I had a little more time to assess than you, though. All right. What are you looking at? What are you seeing here?
Jeez.
This is some interesting stuff.
I'm going with Team Red.
You're going with Team Red.
Nobody has an answer to Embiid at all.
And I'm going with, in a interesting turn of events, I'm going with Team Yellow.
Okay.
On face value, so I understand, and most people were saying it was between Team Red and Yellow, and Team Red's argument is what you said, is the other teams don't have a answer for Embiid there.
Yeah,
but Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, what are we doing? I mean, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Steph Curry. you take that three and whatever happens. Like, LeBron was a 1 through 5 guy. Now he's not going to stop Embiid.
I guess the premise is are you playing 3v3?
3v3.
See,
so not a lot of time to double team.
An open court game, like if it was more of an open court, I would go with Team Yellow.
But professionals could still play full court 3-on-3, 4-on-4. You don't think so?
Well, I mean, international FIBA 3v3 is 3v3. It's not up and down.
Okay.
So that's what I was thinking. If it's three
still
guys,
one
it's going
rim?
to be. Yeah. So that's like, because they're going to have it at the Olympics next time around, I think.
Okay.
So that's what I was thinking.
So it's not a side. It's not not even a short side court.
No. It's all, from the top, like the Big Three. Like it's basically like the Big Three style with a little bit different rules. But that's in that setting. Like you're gonna be able to anchor Embiid every possession. You're not gonna be able to run him out of a game. And that's what I kind of.
But is Embiid going to anchor?
He can, yeah. I mean, but you can do whatever you want. Like you can do, you could post Michael, you could post, Harden if you could, and Embiid can step out and shoot and whatever and cause problems. I just feel that team in a half court game and a 3v3 setting is going to be the hardest to deal with.
And then Harden's going to want the ball. He's going to want to do his dribble pass.
Here's the thing. Michael will walk over there and punch him in the face. He will. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like this ain't the fucking Rockets, motherfucker.
He has that Houston jersey on.
Go stand in the corner.
He has that Houston jersey on, so that means that's Houston version of James.
It don't matter. What do we say about the alpha when you're in the same room at the same time? Shit's different. And he would realize that pretty quick. About his second crossover, it'd be like, motherfucker, give me the ball.
Not a ton of people was picking Team Green, but that's an interesting team too.
The funny thing is they're wonderfully sort of like they're wonderfully balanced in height. They're like all like nearly the same height.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing I thought about though is that like Giannis, because the problem without him being able to shoot, it'll allow Embiid to guard him off, and then let the other guys play. And I think that would. Yeah, that would hurt the functionality of Team Green. Yeah, to a degree.
But on offense, it will work well though, because Larry is a facilitator. He can be.
Yeah, for sure. Great underrated facilitator.
Yeah.
And then, Tatum can do the ISO stuff. And again, you got three guys. I mean, even to a degree, defensively, it kind of works because you're all kind of the same height. You're all kind of
switchability,
and have that going for you.
You're not worried about a screen like my team. You're worried about Steph being screened to death, even in a 3-on-3.
Yeah. Well, Steph could just get targeted almost by any one of these teams.
Yeah.
Because of that, and that was another thing I low key when I was looking at it pushed me to read a little bit more.
All we need is one rebound though.
One rebound and a kick out.
What I'm saying is to get the ball. If it's make it take it, we just need one rebound.
Oh, okay.
And then we're just not giving the ball back. That's all.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Let's go to let's go here. Let me go here because we can go Caleb last. All right, I'm gonna play a video here. This was interesting. It was I saw this on social media about a guy explaining about his girlfriend having guy friends. Okay. So we'll react to that 1 second here.
What do you feel about your girl having guy friends?
That's absolutely unacceptable. I don't think that men and women can be friends.
What if it was a guy she knew before she met you?
No way, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Is it no way she can't text or call them, or is it just no way she can't hang out with them?
I'll put it to you this way. I don't ever tell a woman what she can and can't do. However, if she does certain things, I'm no longer with her, if that makes sense.
So where do you draw the line?
If he's not your brother or your cousin or your father or your uncle, then you shouldn't have any communication with him, unless it's a coworker and it's only at work. You see what I'm saying? I think that men, we know what men want. Some women like to say, "Oh, I don't look at men that way. He's just my friend." And a lot of women also like to say, you need to be a little bit more secure, a little bit more confident. You need to trust your woman more. And it has nothing to do with trust. It has more so to do with our biological urge to be territorial with our women after we claim her as ours, we're very protective over them. And not only that, men know men, especially when you've been around the block a few times. You understand a man's nature and you understand a woman's nature. So, yeah, absolutely not.
What you think about that?
I mean, he's got some good points. I do think the main thing that you look at, like, so I think it's the women's perspective is right. It's oh, you're insecure, you this, that, and the other thing. But to me, from a guy's perspective, it's really you know what other dudes are about. You know what you're about. And that's the biggest thing. Like, you know that any guy sitting there in the friend zone is like waiting for the opportunity to strike. I mean, we're like coiled cobras. That's what we do. And that's the reality. And so, you know, like, it may be like totally cool friendship, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, you're going to fight with your partner. And when you fight with your partner, if she's going to this other dude, either hang out, blow off steam, whatever, where's that going to go? He's going to, smell vulnerability and take full advantage. That's the reality. And how many conversations have you had with a woman who they're telling you about somebody and they almost seem naive to what the guy's doing, but you know what the guy's doing? I mean, that's just what it is. Like, like, oh yeah, this guy, he asked me if I live alone. Okay. Why?
Yeah.
Like, and they didn't think anything of that. Well, no, he's wondering if he could come to your place and smash.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he's doing. So it's like, and I think the funny thing is, if you're in those situations, like, you've heard that, like, naivety, you're kind of like, I can't trust this person. Like, they don't know the forest they're in. They're not familiar with the animals in this jungle. And that's just what it is. So, I mean, I get what he's saying. And, here's the question you have to ask yourself. Do you want a healthy relationship with a person? And a lot of times the answer, honestly, is no, you don't. Like, you value having this network of other friends and the attention that gives you. You enjoy having this network of people that if you're not connecting or having friction with this person, then you got 2 or 3 other people. Like, I think that's how a lot of us are. And, like, if that's what you want, then, yeah, hold on your guns and say, no, I'm going to continue to talk to these friends, and they're my friends, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And like he said, I'm not going to prevent you from doing what you're going to do, but I'm going to make a choice for myself to get away from the situation. And that's just the reality. But if you want a healthy relationship with one person, like, you do need to do certain things. And it's, to me, it's both ways. A guy, you can't continue to cultivate, like, a bunch of female friendships if you're actually wanting to have a good relationship with a single female.
Yeah, but I still disagree with y'all. I wanted to hear you out and listen. I understand where you're coming from. I do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, everyone should be able to be friends. I mean, if that's the truth, and you have to be able to trust your partner. I mean, that's what it comes down to. If you don't trust that person, you shouldn't be with them. At the end of the day, if she's saying that this is a friend. And some guys are able to have platonic friendships. Like, they're able to be friends with someone without wanting to have sex with them. Now, I understand, like, if they're spending a lot of time together, like, now you're getting into tricky waters because, the more time you spend with someone, that's why all of these in-office relationships happen and things like that, because you see this person and you're around this person all the time. Now, that's different. But
that goes to my point of, like, what do you and that person want? If you want to just be the person that you are,
if you
and
want something
enjoy the
real,
life that you are,
even if you want something real, having a friend of the other sex, it should be fine. It should be okay. You should be able to do that, and your partner should
but
trust
you. But you even started to go down that road, though. Like, if you're spending a certain amount of time and this and that, then it can get a little weird.
Yeah, with most people, but still, even then,
with most people, that's.
But no, but even then, but most friendships, you don't spend a ton of time together. I mean, that's just not how friendships work. So I'm talking about regular friendships. You know what I'm saying?
No,
but people may get up for lunch, hang out on the weekends, talk throughout the week. Like, that's fine.
Oh Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying, and things like that. But
no, I'm not on the extreme point that like you literally have to swear off any thing of a friendship, but like there you have to have a concept that like I'm gonna have to conduct myself a certain way if I want this to work with this one person.
Like I was with this girl and she was saying how she was gonna go on like this week cruise with her friend, and it was a guy. What are we doing? or she asked, not she was going or anything, but she asked like, "Would it be okay? We kind of had this planned, and this, and that." Like that's different. It's a little different, man.
But that's what I'm like. There's all these little boundaries, and like that's what I'm saying. If you like again, if you have a friend, maybe you grab lunch with them once every 6 weeks or something. It just it's not like a set schedule, but it's like you're busy. Yeah. You're spending time with this person that you want to be with, and like whatever. Once I have it, whatever. Let's go grab lunch. That's not a big deal. That's not what I'm talking about. But like you say, like it's like yeah, I've got this pre-scheduled cruise with the guy. Like, no, like that's not like we're not. That's not what we're trying to accomplish here. But again, like if that's what your lifestyle is, if you're comfortable with that, if you don't need to have like an exclusive person, and both of you are just kind of like, hey, it's cool, we like each other, we vibe when we're here, but we also do other stuff with other people. It is what it is, and that's like we're all free to make our own choices. And if you're in a situation and it's not good for you, like get the hell out of it.
Yeah,
and that's really the best way to go about it. But I get what he's saying, and I look at it. If you and that other person are serious about having a relationship that's focused on the two of you, you do have to make certain accommodations to the decisions you're making. You can't continue to prioritize other people or whatever. It's like if you're like really into somebody and you're supposed to be having a relationship, and like you want to like maybe like whatever, you got something planned, and like, oh no, sorry, I gotta go hang out with my male friend today. Like all right, I see where I stand. I'm clearly not the priority here.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right, now on to Caleb here. I'm a huge Caleb guy. You're still on the fence here. Now, the Chicago Bears have the #1 overall pick, okay? And they have Justin Fields in place. And then Washington making these coaching moves, sort of, signaling that they are interested in drafting Caleb. Of course, Washington does not have a starting quarterback of note. Okay,
Sam Howell,
and they've just cleaned house in their coaching ranks here. So, and they're thinking that they can make a move possibly with Chicago to get the #1 overall pick. So now, of course, it's okay. Do you get rid of Justin? Sort of trade out of that, obtain more draft picks, or whatever the case may be.
Well, I mean, to me, there's a lot going on. If the Bears are going to, with the top pick, going to take Caleb, they have to get rid of Fields. Otherwise, they're just courting controversy and nonsense and dysfunction.
Washington did that before.
What you mean?
Well, not in that same vein, but you remember they drafted Kirk Cousins and
RG3 in the same draft. The same draft.
It's a similar situation.
It didn't work out.
Yeah.
Like it never works out. Yeah. I mean, go back to the Dallas Cowboys of like Jimmy Johnson. They had Troy Aikman, and then they brought in Steve Walsh, who was the Miami quarterback with Jimmy. It didn't work out. Aikman's a better player. It eventually sorted itself out. It's not a recipe for being successful. So if you are going to take Caleb, to me, you have to move Justin Fields. But right now, where we are, Caleb has kind of repeatedly indicated he does not want to go to Chicago, does not want to play there. I know the dad went on and kind of tried to do some painting over the cracks type of work there. But I think that's been clear throughout this process. That's why he even flirted in the middle of the year with hey, I may not go to the draft. But then you look at this thing of Cliff Kingsbury was on his way to becoming the OC in Las Vegas for the Raiders, bails out of that, pops up as the Washington guy. He's a huge Caleb guy. Caleb tweets something complimentary about it. Like, read what's going on here. The Washington is trying to make a move to get Caleb Williams, whether they feel that they need to maybe trade something with the Bears to move up the spot, and if you're the Bears, you should do that, or they just think that the Bears will just make a different decision than Caleb, and they'll get what they want at that second spot anyway. But it's all lining up that way.
And from Caleb's point of view, though, in my opinion, I think Washington and Chicago are similar situations. Now the tea leaves are that his camp believes that Washington is a more stable franchise, but I don't know where they would get that from. I maybe slightly more, but
did they get rid of Snyder or no? Washington.
I believe so, right? Or did they just move on from the offensive coordinator? I'll look that up.
No. I mean, if they fired Rivera,
right?
They cleaned house in the coaching staff, but they also brought in that group that included Myers from Golden State. Mm-hmm. Like they brought in kind of like a leadership group, and I think if you're looking at that, that's potentially attractive.
So Snyder's not there anymore.
Yeah,
right?
So Snyder had been there and he sucked, and so you could look at the Redskins and say, or Redskins, the whatever the hell they're calling
football
themselves.
team.
And say without Snyder at the controls anymore, they have a chance to build something. They've put together this kind of leadership group of some respected people, and maybe they are making some moves in the right direction versus the Bears, who, literally it feels like the Bears have been treading water for a decade and a half of just not making any significant progress in any direction.
Yeah, but they at least, but in comparison, they have the better roster. They have better receivers. They really, they went out and got DJ Moore last year.
Yeah.
So they, he has better weapons with Chicago, maybe more front office coaching stability or more attraction over in Washington, and I guess a guy he's more familiar with as well.
Yeah. But you'd also figure, and the other thing to put in there, if they're going to draft Caleb first, the Bears, they are going to move Fields, which would add more, whether it be draft picks or players or something like that. So even if you think the roster's better now, it should be, the disparity should be greater with whatever they can get in a Justin Fields move.
And if I'm the Bears, the Washington couldn't offer me enough to move up. I'm taking Caleb. And I told you on one this at the sports bar there. If you do not have a guy, you have to go out and get the guy.
Yeah.
We know what Justin Fields is. You know what I mean? And could you possibly trade the number one pick, get some things back, and try to do a Purdy situation? But the difference is they already had they had a couple of franchise guys at certain positions. Bosa, Debo. The Bears have good players. Like DJ Moore isn't a top 5 receiver in the league. He isn't Debo, but he is a really good player.
Yeah.
And they have a roster full of really good players. But when you want to take that 49ers model, and what's our guy who came back this year and played pretty well, but when you want to take that model where you take a average quarterback and surround him with superior talent, that talent has to be superior, right? And Justin Fields, I think he probably could thrive in that situation. He's not a terrible quarterback, but they don't have that roster's not set up that way now, and he's already in year 3. Yeah, 4. So you have to pay him soon. It's best financially to get Caleb now, and also I believe Caleb is going to be the better quarterback, although nobody really knows because these guys come in, and it's really a crapshoot, to be honest with you.
Yeah, to me the biggest argument is
Trevor Lawrence.
If Caleb is the best quarterback, he's better than Fields. You get him, and you restart the clock on having to pay your quarterback. To me, that's the biggest upside. Even if they're comparable, it's still the best thing. But from Caleb's perspective, you look at them and say, the Bears have really done a crap job developing the quarterback position. You go back to
I don't think they
the
ever
guy
had
from
one.
North Carolina, the guy from Mitch Trubisky was taking
Yeah.
I think 2.
Yeah.
He had did not flourish there. Justin Fields has been there, has not flourished there, and it's like, okay, what are they doing with the quarterbacks? And and I looked again to Jared Goff. Like his first year with Jeff Fisher was a disaster. He got with McVay, he made it to the Super Bowl. He got with with Ben Johnson, also the offensive coordinator in Detroit, and he's played good football, got to a conference final. And development, who's developing you? I still think, go back to Jameis Winston. He had horrible development with Lovie Smith and Dirk Cutter and some of those clowns that were in that organization. And I think it stunted his growth. So if I'm a high-level quarterback, I'm very attracted to who's developing me.
Okay.
And so if it's Cliff Kingsbury, he has a good reputation in that area. He's a quarterback himself. Again, you take it with a grain of salt because, didn't blow the world away with Kyler Murray. So at the NFL level, I don't know that he's like a complete, known commodity there.
But Kyler wasn't a disaster.
I agree. I mean, again, versus whatever the Bears situation is, it's more attractive to me to work with Cliff Kingsbury and see if he can get me right as a player.
It's definitely interesting. These are the type of decisions, man, where people, they get fired or they become the greatest in the sport at what they do in the front office. I mean, because it is a tough decision.
And as talented as Pat Mahomes is, he gets to Andy Reid and he gets to that team, and that's been a significant in his development and significant in the arc of his career, and that's you can't underestimate.
We don't know what happens if he goes to the Patriots and have 2 defensive coordinators as his offensive coordinator. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a piece of it, right? And I mean, I'm okay with Caleb trying to control the narrative of where he goes. I mean, we know Eli did that. That's maybe one of the most famous ones.
Yeah.
With the Chargers there, and it was
John Elway.
And it was a similar situation because the Chargers weren't the worst situation. It's not like but he felt like the development and the team would be better over in New York. So it's a similar situation there, man. So if you're Caleb, it's your career. I'm all for it. Even though I think it's frowned upon though in the NFL circle.
Just hasn't, like you said, there's very little precedent for you. Go all the way back to Eli, who's been retired for a couple years now, and before him, John Elway did a similar move to get to Denver over Indianapolis at the time. And so it's not a super common thing, and people are gonna maybe feel some kind of way about it. But again, we see it with the veteran players, and we see it in other sports, particularly like the NBA. Like guys don't sit around idle when they want to get something done. They leverage themselves to get where they want to go.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to fault him for it, but I could see the reasons why both teams would be interested in making this move. And I don't know what it is. I thought he was genuinely bad during the last half of this year. I'm not blown away by Caleb Williams as a prospect.
Yeah, I'm Category 4 blown away. I'm
Category 4.
Yeah, heavy winds.
Category 4 is more than heavy winds.
Yeah, well, that's
hurricane force winds. Yeah,
that's what I am.
You're describing a tropical storm, not a Category 4 hurricane. Come on, you lived in Florida your whole life, damn near. You should know what the damn storms are all about.
I'm Category 4 blown away, man.
Yeah,
he's my guy. He's my next guy.
Yeah.
I've been pretty solid picking him lately.
Who else have you picked?
Remember, I was Mahomes from day zero.
But after,
but I was Mahomes. To be honest, I was Mahomes in the workouts after the draft. After we got him on our team, and
you found out more about him
before the preseason.
Okay,
but we had Alex, and I was like, we need to start this guy now, even though he sat, most of that rookie year.
Yeah.
But yeah, and plenty of a few other guys that I just can't think of off the top of my head. But yeah. Did you see that Eli really quick? That Eli freestyle?
Yeah. Dude, he's fantastic, man.
Yes, but that's why I'm not the biggest fan of this quarterback win thing. That I mean, we're here. It's not going anywhere, but it's just dumb and silly to me. I mean, yeah, Eli beat Tom Brady twice. That's why in this freestyle he's saying, you guys are saying Tom Brady is that great. Well, I beat him twice. He's not the GOAT. That's basically what he said in the freestyle. And it's like, yeah, I mean, Eli fucking Manning. I mean, come on, man. Beat Tom Brady twice. What does that mean? Is he better than Tom Brady? But that's what you guys. That's what you like. You like this.
Nobody's saying that.
But you like that. You saying that. That's what you said. Tom Brady beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, but that was
connected to a different discussion.
What is it connected to? They use that quarterback wins. That is
I
that's
get it.
The era win.
That was connected to like kind of the GOAT dynamic and the long-term accomplishments of Tom Brady. That's what I was saying there. The fact that, to me, the fact that Eli beat him twice, the funniest part of that is that it was Peyton's biggest rival, and Eli's the guy that got him twice in the Super Bowl.
And not Peyton.
Yeah, that's to me the funniest part of that. I mean, granted, they're both in the AFC most of their careers, so they couldn't meet in a Super Bowl, Peyton and Tom. But to me, that's just the funniest thing. And there's so many odd things about it because it's like, the 2 games you had the helmet catch in the one game to beat the undefeated Patriots team, and then when he dropped that ball on Mario Manningham in that game, I mean, you had just 2 ridiculous pass plays that were central to those narrow victories. Just everything about it's just quirky and funny. But again, it doesn't speak to the fact that Eli's better than him. I mean, anybody.
That's why it's silly altogether. Because if it doesn't fit over here, it shouldn't fit over there. It's the same thing, man.
It's not the same thing.
It's the same exact
It's not the same thing at all.
How is it not the same?
Because the guy has 7 fucking Super Bowls.
Well, I mean, but that's with anything, though. You know what I mean? That's with anything. Because if you just head to head, it's just fucking ridiculous because it's a team thing. You know what I mean? The year that Eli beat the first one, right? I think the first one was the undefeated. It's the undefeated Patriots team.
Yeah.
It's the one of the best teams ever fucking put together, defensively and offensively, with Randy and those guys.
And because they lost that game,
Eli beat Eli beat Tom with the best team.
I get it.
So that should knock Tom. Tom, you lost with the best team ever.
It was a knock. It was a knock, but
that's like the Golden State Warriors losing
73-9. Yeah,
that's like no, not the 73-9. That's like losing with Durant.
Oh man, yeah.
That's like getting swept with Durant.
It's more like the 73-9 because that was the greater.
No, I'm not comparing the situation. I'm comparing the teams.
Yeah, but that's more the way I look at it.
The situation, but I'm comparing the level of teams is what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's my argument.
But again, that is the to me the crazy part is that one game, that victory by Eli, basically kind of diminished that entire team in that season.
No, I mean it did. Nobody recognizes losers.
Yeah, the whole. I mean, if they win, if they finish the 19-0. People could stop talking about those goddamn 72 Dolphins. Like that was enormous. And now when people even talk about great teams, it's like they're just like a weird footnote because they lost that game. I mean, that's why winning it's everything. It just is.
It's not though.
It is. You keep score for a reason.
Yeah, you keep score, but there's context. There's context to things, man.
Winning is winning, man. That's the be all and the end all. That's what it is, man. Because again, that team they went out, they lost one game, but it was the most important game to lose, and they're basically not a part of any discussion of great teams.
No, for sure.
I mean, that's what it is. And again, like if Tom Brady had 2 Super Bowl titles and Eli Manning had 2 Super Bowl titles, and Eli beat Tom in the 2 Super Bowls that they played head to head, there's a lot more compelling evidence to say, hey, maybe Eli's greater than we thought.
Yeah, but what if Eli had the number one defenses and he got drugged and won 3 Super Bowls and didn't even win MVP in those?
He did have great
the
defenses.
The difference between games. Also is, because last week I didn't even bring this up when we were talking about the Mahomes and Brady thing. Like Jordan won 6 titles, right?
Yeah.
But he was the best player on those teams. He won 6 MVPs. There's nothing you can say. All this Scottie Pippen stuff I can bring up, and he didn't win until he got Scottie and this and that. he was the best player on that season, won MVP. Tom Brady didn't win MVP in all his Super Bowls. He wasn't the best player in all those Super Bowls.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can say, oh, he got 7. He got 7. He got 7. What about these other players who was on those teams and had 6 or 7 Super Bowls? You know what I mean? And who won MVP of those Super Bowl games? Because Tom Brady didn't win Super Bowl of all of those MVPs. He wasn't the best player on all of those teams. You know what I mean? He wasn't the best quarterback in the league for the majority of his career. But he wasn't all pro. He wasn't Pro Bowl. Like Mahomes. And this is what I'm saying. Like, so if he ends up with 4 Super Bowl wins, and then you say, oh, but yeah, and Brady beat him in 1, right? Leaving out the context of he had no offensive line. You're leaving out that context, and they lost 31-9.
You're also leaving out the context that Brady was in his 40s and Mahomes in his prime.
See, because you're only thinking head to head. You're only thinking about Mahomes versus Brady, and Brady beat Mahomes here.
And that's
Brady is 40.
History will remember it.
Right, but you know what history is also going to remember? Because Mahomes has made All-Pro and Pro Bowl. For 5 out of 6 years, and the 1 year he was a rookie, only played the 3 games. So basically, every year he's been a starter, he's made the Pro Bowl and been All Pro. Tom Brady has not. Okay, he's been Super Bowl MVP every time he's won the Super Bowl. If that trend continues, which why it wouldn't? Tom Brady didn't win MVP his first 2 Super Bowls, so why?
Right.
Okay, if that trend continues, you know what I mean. So you
I'm
can't just say
Brady
beat Mahomes and then he has 7, and then that's going to make him better because he wasn't a better quarterback. And the All Pros, the Pro Bowls, and all of that, and the MVPs prove it. You can't just list the Super Bowls and he beat Mahomes 1 year. Mahomes didn't have offensive line and say Brady's better because he has 7 and he beat him. That just doesn't work.
It does.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But he wasn't. He wasn't even the best quarterback in his league during his time. You know what I mean? He just was on the best team. I know what you're saying. He was on the best team.
Again, it's like.
Mahomes has been on the best team and has been the best player during his time.
I get it.
Brady was not. He was on the best team. He got drugged to half of those Super Bowls.
I get it, but if history has Mahomes with 2 Super Bowl victories, and Tom was 7,
two. Come on, man.
But that's where we're at. He hasn't won more than 2.
I'm not saying he's the GOAT today.
But I get it. But if you and I understand if you get close enough, and the problem is that 7 is a big number.
He doesn't have to get the 7.
He may not have to.
That's ridiculous.
He may not have to.
It's not
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous because Brady wasn't the best player on all of those 7. You know what I mean? That makes a huge.
I get what you mean.
If Jordan won 6 NBA titles and 3 NBA Finals MVPs, and Scottie won the other 3, let me tell you something, man. That GOAT shit versus LeBron, that wouldn't fly. Him winning all 6 NBA MVPs
I get it, but here's
huge in that
argument. It's too premature to have the conversation because the reality is he could lose on Sunday, and then he could go through a period of time where he doesn't get to some Super Bowls for a number of years, which Brady did, and then he could maybe get there later in his career, and maybe there's another guy on that team that's the MVP of that team. I don't know. We don't know. It has to play out. I mean, that's to me, it's just premature to have this. And when I was saying the significance of catching that game, that was a historical context game, because if the Chiefs win it, and now Brady's at 6, and Pat would already be at 3 with everything else he's got going for him, and in an opportunity to get 4 on Sunday.
If it was an even fight. He didn't have any hands. He went into a fight with no hands and 1 leg.
The fight's the fight. The fight's the one in front of you. You win it.
He got to fight with his shoulders and 1 leg, and he's hopping around.
It doesn't matter.
Man got sacked 6 times.
It doesn't matter.
It matters.
At the end of the day, you win the championship or you don't. And that's the same thing that went the other way with the Patriots when they had the great team and they shit.
He had his offensive line in that game,
but
he was not good enough.
The outcome is what defines the game.
No, the context matters. Brady was not good enough in that game. Mahomes was. If you look it up, they will tell you like that's one of the most impressive Super Bowl performances of all time. The game where he lost 31-9. You know what I mean?
Okay, you still lost.
Yes, he lost because he didn't have any of his horses.
All right, that comes down to it. I mean, you win the fucking game. That's what the job is. When you fall short, you eat that.
In a team sport.
In anything. In an individual sport. If Floyd Mayweather goes out and loses a fight, like, he has to eat that. You know, whether he had fucking food poisoning or whatever. Like, if you lose, you lose. That's the way these things go. No, because
they can postpone the fight.
I'm saying, if once you step in and play the game or have
you can't
a fight,
postpone the Super Bowl.
But my point, it doesn't fucking matter. Like,
it does,
when
man.
the game is played, it's played.
I guess we just disagree there because that matters to me. It matters.
You can hold
if you don't have your people, it matters. Golden State, yes, they lost the finals. Nobody holds that against Steph that he lost without KD, without Clay. Nobody holds that against Steph. But nobody.
Yeah, and I was.
They still say he has 4, LeBron has 4, or whatever, or 3, or whatever.
And I'm a Warriors guy, and I mean that whole thing, them literally physically falling apart against the Raptors, makes me sick to my stomach. But it can't change the outcome of the series.
But that doesn't hold up in history. You know what people say?
It does.
No, it does not. You know what people say?
It absolutely does.
Golden State would have won if they had their people. Everybody says that every time that series is brought up.
But they didn't.
You said history, but
they didn't.
But your point is history remembers the winners only.
They do.
That is a huge asterisk behind it. Everybody always says that's a lie, Pink. If you've never heard anybody say that, that is a lie. Everybody says that. 98% of people you hear, and I'm telling you, I know because I know. 98% of people you hear that reminisce on that series always is going to say, KD was out, Clay was hurt, Steph was by himself.
The people that were alive and watching the series will remember the context. The people that were alive and watched the Bucks and the Chiefs, who cared, who had a dog in the fight, will remember the context. The people that were too young or didn't give a damn at the time or whatever, they don't.
That's not true.
They don't.
I didn't watch the Jordan thing when he was hurt. I didn't watch that. Yeah, I know they lost in the playoffs, but he was hurt. He had a leg injury. Whatever year that was. I don't know what year that was. They lost that year in the playoffs.
That was the year we talked about earlier. His second year in the league.
Yeah. I didn't watch. I don't even know if I was alive. But
what's your point on that? I mean,
my point is, I know and I remember, and everybody does, that year doesn't really count. He was hurt, coming off of injury. Even with the 60
I watched it and it counted for what it was.
No, he lost, but it doesn't count.
Or
the year he came back out of retirement.
The whole Wizards years.
The
loss to the Magic.
Yeah, the loss to the Magic.
It counts. What do you mean it doesn't count?
No, it doesn't really count because he came out of retirement. He wasn't.
That 100% counts.
Wasn't rolling. You know?
That 100% counts.
Or the Shaq loss against Hakeem Olajuwon. He was a baby. I hear a lot of people say that. He was a baby.
Those are stupid arguments.
Huh?
He was 5 years in the league.
I'm telling you how history remembers these things.
No, not at all.
What's told to me.
No, I disagree. Because at the end of the day, Steph has 4 titles. He doesn't have 5. You can't say, I mean, he lost that series. He should have 6 with the Draymond ejection in Game 5. But he has 4. And we have to accept that he has 4. That's it. There's no, whatever. You can, to make your own mind feel good, you could look back and say, oh, shit, everybody got hurt against the Raptors or Draymond got kicked out. But it was what it was. You can't. History records the Raptors as champions. They record LeBron as a champion.
Shout out to Kawhi. Maybe he'll get it done again this year.
And that's another, that's a guy who that legacy's on the line too.
No, it is.
If they win, he becomes, because of that Raptors thing, a 3-time champion with 3 different franchises, which matches one of LeBron's accomplishments. Mm-hmm. And that elevates his status, particularly if he were able to continue to play at this clip that he's playing at through the finals. I mean, that's tremendous. But again, that's part of his resume. Again, you got a fraudulent title against the dilapidated, broken-down Warriors. No, it's still a title of his.
But to my point, the no league MVPs, the all NBA teams that he's going to lack, that matters, man. When it's not just going to be, okay, he has 3 rings and this guy's 3 rings, or this guy's 2 rings and he's going to go over him. It's just not just a ring count.
I understand that. But, I mean, at some level, it might become a ring count. But it's not gonna because he's too broken down. I mean, if he got up to 5 or 6, it becomes
earlier on.
It becomes more complicated. But to me, like Kawhi Leonard is going to be one of the most difficult players to historically contextualize, particularly if he was able to win a third title.
Yeah, he's almost like Jimmy Butler in that sense. We got to get out of here, though. These guys are getting in. We went over.